Hello and welcome to TB3 Sports Talk, episode 75. We are 3/4 of the way there. And to celebrate, we have a new studio behind us.
Yeah, this is not your grandfather's TB3. You know, we didn't have video last episode. We didn't have an episode last week, but we were doing big things behind the scene. We're not yet fully done, but I mean, look at it. It is beautiful. She is beautiful. New podcast studio at your very own TB3 Sports Talk HQ. Got to shout out Joel, man. Joel is such a talented young lad. He helped, along with our beautiful Pastor Ben. He helped lay this background, get these shelves up. He kind of helped, pave the way for this idea. So you got to give a lot of credit to Joel. So if you guys at home are watching, say, man, this studio is beautiful, you got to thank Joel and Pastor Ben. But we're back to talk some Tampa-based sports. A couple weeks off for the Lightning. I guess first things first before we get into it, man, how did you guys feel about that Four Nations tournament? That was electric, huh?
Dude, yeah, until the very end.
Yeah, man.
Let me just say, new stew. We're gonna add more stuff to
we're gonna get
the background. Yeah, have some cool stuff. If you have some kind of memorabilia you want up there, just send it in.
Yeah, DM us.
Hit us up on the DMs. We'll put it somewhere. I envision it like, pardon the interruption, they just got like tables full of bobbleheads and sports stuff. I see that. I envision that here for us, but we'll get there. So, yeah, thank you to everybody who set this up and built this. Yeah, man, Four Nations face-off. It was electric. Absolutely electric. I never really had a problem with the NHL All-Star game to begin with. I thought, low-key, it was one of the better All-Star games. You get a tournament, nice threes tournament, each division going at it. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was better than the NBA, better than NFL, obviously. But they were like, we're going to take this and make it way better. Because there's nothing that gets players more fired up as than donning the jersey of their country. All HE double hockey sticks break loose when that happens. And, I've been fired up. Like, I expect it to be a fun game. They're doing all the pregame stuff. I watched I think the first game was Finland, rooting for USA. I said on the show like 2 weeks ago, it don't matter who's on the Lightning or not. It's USA all the way. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter.
Amen.
Watch Finland. Got excited, but then it's like Canada, right? That's our rival.
That was a crazy game.
They're getting me fired up. And then right off the rip,
oh, my gosh.
gloves are dropping. Punches are being thrown.
Our very own Brandon Hagel. It felt bad.
Brandon Hagel, yeah. But, hey, I had to root against him, man.
You got to do it. It's the country, man.
You're the enemy.
Yeah.
You are the enemy. And I think President Trump said this. Like, I don't have DNA, I have USA. That's how I felt in that moment. Like, you see that, and you're like,
so
dude, put me in the draft right now. I will go fight a war. I will go fight a war for this country. And, that was definitely a highlight. I think it proved to be too much of a highlight. Too many people saw it. It was too awesome. Where I just think, that kind of felt like the championship. We beat Canada. We beat, our evil rival, somebody who's dominated us really in international play. I mean, I think it's now 15-4-1. Canada leads the all-time series in professional.
Well, they should. It's their sport.
It's their sport,
sport.
But, when you get a lick on them and you kind of feel like, maybe the torch is passed. Maybe, it's USA's time. I think that was just a little too much, and they just kind of ran out of gas there. I think they played a little too lax against Sweden, too. I think they rested too many guys. You should have kept them playing. Should have had Hellebuck out there. I know Matthew Tkachuk was injured. I get him. But, like, Austin Matthews, why aren't you playing that game, man?
Did he even score a goal the whole tournament?
Nope.
Bum.
He didn't. And how is he the leader of the team? Should be
it's the Tkachuk,
Jake Gensel.
It's the Tkachuk brothers. Jake Gensel's Captain America. I mean, what a tournament for that guy. A couple goals. I think it was 2 or 3 goals in the tournament.
2 goals against Canada for sure.
Yeah, and he had a goal against in the first game. I think that was Finland, right? So, yeah, what a tournament for our boy in the blue. Blue USA and blue Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, some good tournaments from, the Lightning boys on Canada. Victor Hedman was on Sweden. It was good to see those guys represent. I mean, again, we're all USA, but, man, I saw that, John Cooper, pregame speech to Team Canada, and it fired me up, man. And then I was like, had to, remember that he's not coaching my favorite team. He's coaching Team Canada. But, for me, I think last thing while we're on Four Nations, but What do you want the format of Four Nations to be going forward? Do you want this to be something that's played every single year? Do you want it to be something that's played every other year, maybe every year with a different format, different teams, every 4 years like the Olympics? Like, how do you guys think would be the best way for the NHL to implement the Four Nations tournament?
Well, I think it's probably just going to end up every other year because the Olympics is every two, or I guess it's 4. So it's going to be once every couple of years. Like next year is obviously Olympics, and they already said they're not going to have it. So we're going to go back to the All-Star game. I don't mind it. I think, add more teams. I like the 4 that they have are solid, of course, obviously, because you can fill up the most roster spots. But I think it's not fair to not have Russia in it. You have to put Russia in it, and that team would have been loaded. Like, I was afraid of Canada's roster, but oh my goodness, some of the names, and of course names that we're familiar with in the Tampa area, like Kucherov and the Big Cat. I mean, I think they deserve to get their shot. And man, I'm trying to think of another team outside of that. Maybe Czech Republic. Are there a lot of Czechs to fill up a whole squad? Because you want NHL guys. I mean, I think everybody was NHL.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd definitely be interesting. I think every other year is the correct way to do it. I think if you played it every year, it would get watered down. And unfortunately, I don't think that the intensity level would stay the same if the tournament was played every other year. Or every year. I think every other year, it keeps it fresh. It keeps it going on enough where people are excited for it. It balances well with the Olympics. I didn't even think about that. I think having an international display of hockey will be so good for the growth of the game, every other year. I think that was some of the best hockey I've watched in a long time. And I think every other year is the correct way to do it. I think that, and again, Russia would be a nice add. I think we're probably missing a country. So comment down below what other team other than Russia you'd like to see. Maybe if you can get it up to 8, you can have like a full-style tournament instead of the round-robin play. That would be pretty fun.
I think, though, is I just don't think there's enough
it's possible
NHL guys to fill up. Otherwise, I mean, like, I know for sure all the 4 that they had, and if you added Russia, those would be all NHL guys. Outside of that, I just don't think so.
Yeah,
I think maybe like the Czech Republic, something like that.
Yeah.
One of those Akias or Slovakias, something like that.
That is not a country, bro.
I don't know how
it ends with Akia. There's like 20 or something.
I don't know how that schedule works with the Olympics, but essentially it would be like there's an off year every year between the Olympics. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be every 4 years is the Olympics.
And then
every 2 years, so it'd be
there's
4 nations.
There's like a 3 for every one Olympics or something.
Wait, it would be 4 nations. No, because
the Olympics is next year, 2026. So you won't get Winter Olympics again until 2030.
So you would get 2 Four Nations in between the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have 3 out of every 4 years with international hockey.
I think that's too much. I think they have to find
maybe
a way.
I
think they have to find a way. Maybe like
you want to stagger it so it's every 2 years,
like the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah,
every 3.
I think there needs to be a gap year in between every hockey experience.
That's what I'm saying. Like All-Star game, Four Nations, All-Star game, Olympics, All-Star game, Four Nations.
However they can figure that out.
That would be the best way to do it.
I don't think it's gonna be like perfect on the calendar, like because the Olympics is every 4, and if you're trying to alternate, I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't think the year they implemented it wasn't the best.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna have to like mix it up next year.
They only did it to kind of so like. I don't know why they're doing like free advertising, like, hey, this is what you're going to see in the Olympics.
They want to grow the game. And we always kind of get on hockey for not growing their game, but this is a great way to do it. I think that's a good way to tap
it. It is a good way to do it. But I do think it's a fun sport, and they've done a good job.
Yeah.
And I just think too many people don't care. Mm-hmm. Like, they've done plenty of stuff to grow the game, outdoor games.
But they can market their players better.
It's ESPN's fault. They sold it to ESPN.
That's a very good point.
It's their 4th child.
Well, at this point,
very good
ESPN,
point,
I mean, again, another non-Tampa we can talk about. MLB and ESPN are parting ways. ESPN's not going to have Sunday Night Baseball. And I think that kind of comes on the heels of MLB being really frustrated with the way that ESPN has covered MLB. And they're kind of doing the same thing with NHL. ESPN is predominantly basketball and football. And these sports are great, and they have, I would say NHL and MLB probably have more viewership internationally and around the world than they ever have before, especially MLB. I know that for a fact. So for ESPN to be neglecting it the way they do, when they cover it on talk shows, on the time slots they give, stuff like that, it's pretty ridiculous. And I think we could see NHL doing something similar that MLB did in parting ways with ESPN, because I agree, ESPN's doing a terrible job with these sports, and they have all the funds. They just aren't giving it the proper showcase, which is just dumb. Like, again, no offense to WNBA and other sports like that, women's college basketball. People care. NHL and MLB is more entertaining than that sport. It just, quite frankly, is, and it doesn't get covered like that at ESPN. And it's a little bit of a disconnect for me, just personally.
Yeah, Joel, you made one heck of a point, because it is true. Like, I just think, I remember when ESPN first got the rights to the NHL, I was sick to my core, because I knew they just don't care enough. And, there's no tradition. I think even early on, they were talking on Stephen A's show, Stephen A. Smith, and they're like, what's the next team in New York? Like, what team in New York will win a championship first? And somebody says the New York Rangers. And Stephen A's like, nobody cares about the Rangers. I mean, you guys have the rights to the NHL, and you're saying that on your own show. And then, you slap. I feel bad. He's not a terrible announcer, but you slap Steve Levy on there for some of the games. You slap McDonough, and he's not bad either. Good. He's good. I like him as an announcer, but you give it there's no tradition, or you have nothing to fall back on. You knew the Stanley Cup growing up as a youth. You knew you're getting Doc Emmerich, Eddie Olczyk. Like, you were getting the dogs for the Stanley Cup, and NBC made it a show. You were excited to hear those guys. But with ESPN, it's just, we're going to throw random announcers in there. Not really add anybody. You got, their halftime show again is like Steve, or in between periods, intermission.
Mark Messier
and
PK
Subban.
I think that's probably the best aspect of what ESPN has.
That's it, really.
Yeah.
But like, you look at like TNT, I was so happy they got the Stanley Cup last year. Because you got, you have Wayne Gretzky show up on there. You got Biz Nasty. Everybody loves Biz Nasty, and I like Kenny Albrecht calling the games with Eddie Olczyk. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Yeah.
We were blessed, man.
For sure.
All right. Oh, wait, can I say one thing? You think as like our generation, when we grew up, you had, and maybe you can disagree with me, but like growing up, World Series, you got Joe Buck. You got Mike Emmerich for hockey. You had, what's his name? Mike Breen.
Mike Breen.
Bang! For NBA, and then Al Michaels for football Sunday nights.
Those three are absolute goats. Mike Breen, Doc Emmerich, Al Michaels, three of my favorites. Joe Buck, I wouldn't rope him in there.
I love him on the World Series, man.
He's definitely better in baseball than he is football, but he chose football. But those three, it's kind of a shame that Al Michaels is still working now, because you kind of like forget how good he was when he was at NBC. Like, now he just is just a cranky old man.
I know, because they put him on Thursday Night Football, the worst brand of
what
football.
Sucks too, because it's like, I love Kirk Herbstreit. And if this was like prime Al Michaels, it'd be like probably my favorite broadcasting
of all time. But it's just terrible games, and he's seen so many good ones where it's like, this sucks.
Absolutely.
Sorry, that was a long-winded. Hey, it's a good conversation, right?
Good conversation. All right, so we're going to dive into Tampa-based sports. We're going to start with the team that was back after the Four Nations face-off break. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they headed into the Four Nations on a 4-game winning streak, beating all Atlantic Division opponents. And they came back Sunday night, after, that was Thursday night was the Four Nations face-off. Championship, so they had 3 days off for the people who played, a couple weeks off for the players who didn't play, so a lot of rejuvenated and refreshed players, and they went back to Amalie Arena to face off against the Seattle Kraken, a team that the Lightning have not lost to in regulation in their franchise's history. So pretty big stuff for the Lightning, and they would start off in the second period. We'd be scoreless in the first, but in the second period, Brandon Hagel, coming off the Four Nations, would get a huge shorthanded goal to put the Lightning up 1-0 in the second, and then the third period is when the Lightning struck. Nikita Kucherov would put the Lightning up 2-0. Then Luke Glendening, I love a Luke Glendening goal. 3-0 Lightning. Shane Wright for the Kraken would cut it to a 3-1 lead, but Nick Paul would seal this one up with an empty netter to make it 4-1 Lightning. The Lightning would win their 5th in a row at home in Amalie Arena. quite the game, boys. I mean, good to see that, the Lightning go into the break and they go and they come out refreshed and energized and ready to play. Sometimes you get worried about a sluggish start coming out of that. And, I mean, 0 goals from both teams definitely maybe signifies a little bit of a sluggish start. But the Lightning, they win, handily. Mm-hmm. I think this was the NHL debut for the Kraken's goaltender, so you spoiled that one.
He's a Czech. That's why.
That's why you were thinking about it?
He's like the best goalie in the Czech leagues over there when it comes to USA.
Yeah, he's a 28-year-old rookie, I think.
Yeah, well, first rookie goalie to make a debut for the Kraken.
Yes, I did see that
young team, you get cool stats like that. No, I mean, my biggest takeaway of the game is, you look at the box score, you see 4-1, and you go, yeah, typical Lightning. The Kraken have struggled, especially after back-to-backs. They're like 0-9.
Yes.
But, man, it was a little tough. I think the Lightning were playing great in the first period. I mean, how can we not talk about Gergensen's two shots off the post? I mean, 2 beautiful goals. Lightning were playing great, I think, and then in the second, still playing great, just too many missed scoring opportunities, and then the Kraken go on a power play, and you go like, uh-oh, like this could turn the tide of the game. The Lightning been playing well, and now this could backfire on them, and then Brandon Hagel, man.
Yeah, that Brandon Hagel goal was definitely one that could kind of set the vibes right for the second half of the Lightning season. I mean, just a beautiful goal. Again, Sorelli and Hagel up on that up on that penalty kill are just fantastic. Those guys are absolute dogs up there. And sometimes with great penalty killers, you get stuff like this where they're able to threaten on the shorthanded goals and get one. And then you look at this game, the Lightning didn't have a single power play opportunity. So to get this shorthanded goal on the Kraken's only power play opportunity is huge. You have no special teams, so you kind of got to manufacture your own offense. You don't have any opportunities to turn the ice, tilt the ice in your favor on the power play, so you get one shorthanded. And I think that was obviously the play of the night, obviously what propelled the Lightning to victory. And then, Andrei Vasilevskiy, 36 saves on 37 shots. I mean, what another performance. Andrei Vasilevsky's been one of the best goaltenders in the calendar year 2025, and it continues. What a game from him. What a game. This was also another note was this was J.J. Moser's first game back since December. I think he really shored up this defensive core. It did a very good job. So all of these things point towards a nice little Lightning victory out of the break.
And that goal was at the end of the game, right, that the Kraken got?
Yes.
Yeah, so Vazzy was so close to that shutout. I was watching.
Yeah, it was disappointing because I thought he was going to get one, and then...
Yeah, I mean, again, that is a lot of shots to save for a near shutout. That is impressive from Vazzy. Anything else stick out to you from this game?
No, just I think like you said, just to turn the tide like that, just huge shout out to Hagel, and he does it so well. I think it's 7 shorthanded goals for him this year.
7?
I think it's 7.
That is wild.
I think I heard the Lightning have 9 total, so he must have a lot of them.
I want to say it's 7.
I'm gonna look.
That's a lot.
I think he's tied somebody on the Panthers.
How many short?
If I'm wrong, I'm dyslexic, so blame it on that.
Oh, dude, don't fail me now, Google.
Internet's a little slow in the new stew. Notice.
That's weird because the router's right there.
I shall find this in 2 seconds.
Wait. Points. 7 points.
Oh, 7 points. 7 points in shorthanded opportunities. It's still pretty good. Doesn't take away from the fact that
3 shorthanded goals.
3 shorthanded goals, 7 points.
Yep,
there you
go.
It's unbelievable.
Yes. All right, so let's move on to the next game. The Lightning were still at home in beautiful Amalie Arena. They would face off against the Edmonton Oilers. Coming off of us as Lightning fans, we wanted a little bit of revenge because, Connor McDavid scores the game-winning goal for Canada. I wanted to see the Lightning beat Connor McDavid just selfishly. And the Lightning, it didn't start off good. Leon Draisaitl would get a power play goal. It's hard to keep that guy off the board. He has 43 goals this year. And it would be 1-0 Edmonton. But then Mikey Eyssimont with just a beautiful, beautiful goal backhanded to tie it up at the end of the first period. It's 1-1. And then in the second period, Brandon Hagel would get another goal, his 28th. 2-1 Lightning. Victor Hedman would then cash in on a 5-on-3 power play to make it 3-1 Lightning. And then in the third period, Nick Paul would get another third period goal to make it 4-1, and that would be all she wrote. The Lightning, another 1-goal defensive performance, another win, 6 in a row for the Bolts, 4-1 over the Oilers.
Yeah, one thing I loved about this game is just the speed and tenacity Lightning played with. Oilers get on the board first, and the Lightning don't look back, tying it up almost immediately, answering the bell, and then the next two periods scoring within the first couple minutes. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what you want to see. That's taking control. You're at home. And, yeah, just playing fast because Oilers are a fast team, and I thought the Lightning were matching the speed and really limiting, guys like Connor McDavid. I know he had one kind of big breakaway. Vaz was able to shut it down. But other than that, I think the Lightning defense kept him at bay for most of the game.
For me, when you look at this game, the Lightning have, struggled this year. We've had a lot of question marks about the Lightning's third and fourth lines. We look at this trade deadline. That's something that I think we're going to try to see if the Lightning will shore up. But, you got to play with the guys you have. And in this game, the Lightning had two third-line goals. Mikey Eyssimont gets one, and then Nick Paul gets one, both third-liners. That is impressive, and that is so huge. I think the play of the third and fourth lines was a reason why the Lightning were able to match that speed for the Edmonton Oilers. That is very impressive. That depth is kind of a key for the Lightning going forward. You get an assist from Gage Gonsalves. All of these guys have to continue to play better. And again, Mikey Eyssimont, what a goal. That was just a beautiful, beautiful goal. He went, at the post-game interview, he's hyping up how good the crowd was at Amalie Arena. Gotta love that from the guy. I love, his fight, his scrap. It feels like he hasn't been able to stay healthy the last couple of years. But when he's healthy, he's effective, he's a pest, and he can get some goals. He kind of reminds you of that Yanni Gourde, Blake Coleman role that you wanted him to step into, and he hasn't quite done it. But I still believe in Mikey Eyssimont. He showed it with that goal. And I'm just hoping that the Lightning's third and fourth line continue to perform the way they did in this Oilers game.
Completely agree.
It's been so nice to watch the Oilers downfall over the last month or so. I want to say they've lost 10 straight, maybe 9 of the last 10 or something. But just glorious. I love that it's like Connor McDavid went home to a dirty house or something. That's what I feel like with this. I was like, yep, Connor McDavid, don't forget who you are. Don't forget your identity, bro.
He's a bum.
You suck.
All right. Another 1 goal allowed for Andrei Vasilevskiy, 23 saves on 24 shots. Solid as they come. Keep boosting those stats, Vazzy. Yeah, and I guess, following this game, the Lightning are in, definitely a spot that is desirable. We look at, at the beginning of this winning streak, we looked at the Lightning and they were, in the outside looking in the playoff picture. But now they are firmly in the third seed of the Atlantic Conference. But they're kind of looking maybe to potentially do more because they are at 70 points right now with 57 games played. The Panthers are 3 points ahead of them with 73, but the Panthers have played 2 extra games as opposed to the Lightning. And then you have the Toronto Maple Leafs, who have 74 points. They are the number 1 seed in the Atlantic Division. But the Lightning have played 1 less game than the Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs have played 58. The Lightning have played 57. So the Lightning are in complete striking distance to potentially maybe even get the 1 seed in the Atlantic Conference, which would be Atlantic Division, which would be such a huge thing for them. It would be good to see the Lightning get a higher seed and not having to play without home ice advantage in the playoffs. And it's just been refreshing to see the Lightning on this winning streak and get them, firmly in the playoff picture, looking to elevate themselves even more.
They're hot at the right time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think there's been a couple factors that have gone into this win streak that they have, and hopefully they continue to keep it going. But I think the biggest thing has been Andrei Vasilevskiy throughout this win streak here. And I think it's crazy against the Oilers. He faced 24 shots, and that's been the lowest amount of shots he's faced this entire streak. That's been the lowest, and he's been absolutely locked down. I know there's a lot more games left to go in this season, but he's pushing a 92 save percentage, which the last time we've seen that from him in a regular season, we were winning the Stanley Cup with him. So I just think not that we take him for granted. I think it's the same thing with Kucherov. we just know these guys are good. You know you're going to get a good performance out of them, and it's hard to differentiate when you're seeing them play at the next level, even better. And I just had to acknowledge that I think Vasilevsky's just played out of his mind. Just being a solid foundation back there in net. I think, having Moser come back is going to definitely help, like the shots. But I just think like with the trade deadline coming up, one defensive guy, they could be really dangerous here, and it's starting to get me excited. I think, too, you mentioned it a bunch, but those third and fourth line guys, Glendening, Esimon, even Perbix stepping up too, getting on the scoring sheet, that's helped the Lightning significantly. So I think those two things are going to continue to lead to success for them. So hopefully keep this, a nice long streak we don't have to worry about. We don't have to be on pins and needles towards the end of the season. Like, hopefully we got that first seed locked.
That would be awesome. First seed would be sick. It would be nice to see the Lightning in that same breath again. The trade deadline is coming up March 7th, so we got a few days, about a week and a half until that March 7th trade deadline. And the Lightning made a move today. Oh, come on. All right, I just had it. This is so embarrassing, guys. I'm so sorry. Found it. The Lightning made a move today. It was a pretty minor one. It was between some minor leaguers. The Lightning acquired Anthony Angelo from the Predators, and they sent Jesse Ylonen. I hope that's how you say it, bro. Both minor leaguers, both players that will be playing in the minors right now. Don't know if they're going to be able to help their teams this year. It was funny seeing the Instagram comments under the picture of him in the Predators jersey. It was like, this is the wrong Predator. You guys weren't supposed to bring this guy in. And it was like, all right, bro.
Hey, but you know what that means? That the general managers are in talking.
They're warming up.
They're friendly to each other right now. So who knows what's next?
You could always use help on the power play.
I would take him back in a heartbeat.
I would too. Yeah. So that is your Lightning for the last two games. As we look ahead, we are recording on February 26th. So tomorrow night, February 27th, the Lightning will have another home game at home is what I was about to say. Home game at Amalie Arena. They will host the Calgary Flames. I've always had a hard time saying Calgary Flames. That will be at 7 p.m. And then as you look ahead, they have another week off. Well, that's crazy. So that sucks. So next Thursday they will be at home again against the Buffalo Sabres. So yeah, 2 games to preview. I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know. Maybe that's it.
We can do more Rays next week or something.
Well, I don't know. But should we preview the Sabres game? We'll probably record before the Sabres game. All right. So one game to preview. Game.
Give me a win, man.
Yeah, I'm taking a win,
nice
too.
Win, dude. Calgary.
I'm taking a win, and I'm taking another Nick Paul goal. 3 in a row.
Should we do – okay, because these are always the tough ones. For this, since one game, should we do first goal scorer on the Lightning?
Okay, all right. Okay,
Who's scoring first?
Who's scoring first?
If any of us gets it right, like we –
I'm going to say Anthony Cirelli
scoring first.
You
went from hard to super hard. That's what happened.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Super hard, bro.
Because, normally you have a couple games, you say, I think Cooch is going to score. Yeah, probably Cooch is going to score. But now you got to do the first goal scorer.
I'm taking Anthony Cirelli. Anthony Cirelli scoring first goal.
Give me Mikey Asimon.
Ooh, I like it.
I'm going to make it even more specific. I'm saying Gensel on a power play. I can't get it right
like it.
If it's Gensel. It has to be Gensel on a power play, or I don't get it right.
All right, so check out the Lightning. Maybe Thursday night you're feeling frisky. Go to the game in Amalie Arena.
Go to the game.
Go to a game. We're going to go to a game soon. Me and Joel were talking about it. We're going to a game soon.
We're going to try for Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
If we don't, we failed you as an audience.
We're going to try. So yeah, check out the Lightning tomorrow. And do you guys smell that? It smells like spring's in the air because the Tampa Bay Rays are back in spring training. Baseball is back. It's beautiful to hear the crack of the bats again. And there's been some good performers sticking out. I'll leave it up to you guys. Who? What do you guys want to talk about for Rays spring training? I got some numbers pulled up.
I just feel like there's one name that we got to go with first. That's Mr. Simpson.
Yeah, Chandler Simpson. What a dog, bro. What a dog. Where are you, Chandler Simpson? Oh, dude. I'm gonna die. Anyways, Chandler Simpson's been really good, but so did you guys see the catch he made in center field?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what a play! I really want to pull up his numbers and I can't.
I know it's tempting, just the way he's been able to play defensively, throwing guys out, making phenomenal catches. If you're Johnny DeLuca, man, you gotta be looking over your shoulder because this guy seems ready to play. I think the biggest thing too is just his speed, man. I think teams are gonna be worried. Like if the ball is in play, it's a bad thing for any team facing him. So
what bracket of minor leagues is he on?
So he hasn't played a lick of AAA yet.
Okay, so I think I've heard about this guy, and they said like it's possible that he could just skip AAA if he wanted to.
I mean, with that speed and his play style, he kind of doesn't need as much of the AAA because he is just a contact, get the ball in play. Even a grounder, he has a good chance of being out. That is how fast this guy is. I think there's some type of stat where he is like, if you compare the fastest qualified MLB player, he would be firmly faster than that guy if he played in the MLB, Chandler Simpson. He had over 100 stolen bases in AA last year. Just an electric speed. He's been able to hit. I mean, he has really been hitting the ball around. And I mean, who knows, man? You look at the Rays are lacking a center fielder. I don't see, take them as a team to try and bring up someone that quickly. But I mean, dude.
What do you have to lose?
What do you have to? I mean, you have to lose, Chandler Simpson's development. So I do
that 1 year of arbitration or whatever.
Yeah, that too. All right, bro. See, I hate my life.
New stew, man.
I hate
new stew.
Okay. Spring training stats are hard to pull up. But he's been hitting really good. At one point, I saw he was hitting in the 600s. So he's been hitting the ball. Some of them have been choppers. Some of them have been line drives. But he's been really, really impressive. Another guy, the new Ray, the new catcher, the new guy under the mask, Danny Jansen. 2 home runs already in spring training. Man, been so impressed. Hit a couple tanks. I'm ready to declare this guy as Mike Zunino 2.0.
I was unfamiliar with your game, man. Danny Jansen. A lot of it, it's still spring training, but I like what I'm seeing so far.
Blue Jays sometimes have some good catchers coming in and out the door.
I've been trying to tell you guys. He's doing that. On the pitching side, we saw some big names pitch this week. We saw Zach Littell pitch a couple innings. He did give up a run to Royce Lewis, but that's an MLB player. It was a solo home run. Other than that, that was the only base runner. So 1 run given up across 2 innings, a couple of punchies. And then we saw Taj Bradley come in. He pitched 2 1/3 innings, only gave it 1 hit, 0 earned runs. And then, man, the demon, Edwin Uceda came in, 1 inning pitched, 3 strikeouts. I mean, what a filth, just pure filth. I saw the video. I mean, he was just decimating people.
Mm-hmm.
So pitching has looked pretty good. There's been some randoms up there that have been blowing the games, but again, spring training, the games don't matter as much. I don't know. Do you guys think that losing these games is good for the Rays? It kind of seems like when they do bad in spring training, they do better in the actual games.
No, I mean, you bring up a good point there, and I think that's what Josh Lowe said about last season is they just weren't feeling it in spring training and it carried over to the regular season. So, yeah, I definitely think there's an aspect to winning the games and playing well and getting hot, finding your swing, working on command and whatnot, all aspects. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you get the randoms coming in, some of the camp invites towards the end of the game, they blow it. That's not necessarily terrible. It really matters about those big guys who are going to be playing for you every single day, how they're doing, how they're feeling, what's the score when they leave the game. It's more frustrating as a fan, I think. That's why I try to stay away from it because I love spring training. I love watching it, but as a fan of the Rays specifically, it's tough. I don't like losing, period, and I don't like seeing guys do good. And that's like, I think a big one's like Curtis Mead. I don't know if you're waiting to bring him up.
Oh, Curtis Mead, man.
I mean, he's playing great, but we got to see it in the regular season.
We do.
We got to.
We really do. But, I mean, just in case you guys are wondering, Curtis Mead right now, is hitting 889. That is his average. He hit a home run today. He has a couple RBIs, has some extra base hits. He has a 2,000.233 OPS. Again, like we'll mention, we got to see in the regular season. However, people forget Curtis Mead is a prospect that a lot of people raved about. A lot of people, including us, were ecstatic and excited when this guy came up to play baseball, and it just hasn't clicked for him. I think he's just
started hitting wiffle balls.
He really hasn't, and it seems like for him, when he hit the ball, it went nowhere last year. That's what I noticed when I was watching him play. But he's bulked up. He came into spring training looking much bigger than he did last year. So maybe that extra weight, maybe some things he did in the minors, maybe all of that is helping him click and be a better hitter. We're looking for guys to make that jump this season. We're looking for, Junior Caminero to make that jump, and I think we all think he will. Some other guys that, were a lot of question marks is Jonathan Aranda. We're looking for him to make that jump from, minor league stud to major league stud. We're looking for Christopher Morel to make that jump from, has all the intangibles to this guy's having a great season. We're looking for Curtis Mead to make that jump from minor league stud to major league stud. We're looking for Johnny DeLuca to do that same jump. Those three guys are big. You're looking for guys like Josh Lowe. Josh Lowe's a big one. Yanni Diaz is a big one. Those guys have to have better seasons at the plate, and I think they are in position to do so. I'm really excited to see them play. I've loved what I've seen from Aranda. I mean, that first spring training game I was able to watch. He got 2 knocks against Marcus Stroman. That's a legitimate pitcher. So I've been liking what I've seen from the guys. I think it was good to see Taj get out there. Good to see Edwin Uceda get out there. I've been enjoying it. I'd like to see, as the Rays progress, I'd like to see Shane McClanahan pitch. I'm very, very excited to see him pitch. Shane Baz get out there. Another thing that we learned this week is that Eric Neander said that the Rays will be going with a 5-man rotation, is what they said. So as you look at the Rays pitchers, they got 6 legitimate starters that, I think a lot of us feel good with. They have Shane McClanahan, Shane Baz, Taj Bradley, Drew Rasmussen, Zach Littell, and Ryan Pepia. That is 6 starters that, as of right now, there's 6 guys for 5 spots. So what do you think the Rays are looking to do with only 5 starters? Who maybe will go to the bullpen? Who maybe will get moved in a trade? What do you guys think is going to go down?
Yeah, I assume they'll probably move somebody. I think it might probably be Littell. There was talks of him getting moved earlier in the offseason, and I feel like they could probably get the most value for him while he's still kind of new to the starter role. But I just think, why not go with 6, man? Why not go with 6? If you got the 6 guys to do it, do it. I don't get that. I just don't understand with baseball. You got the guys, do it.
No, that's when you get the injuries. Guys should probably be going every 4 days if you want to avoid these kind of injuries. Like you start to ice him.
Happen no matter what.
You ice him after a while, and that extra day is going to kill him. I think. I just blanked on this. I think Rasmussen will probably be the bulk guy. That'd be probably my thought.
That'll be interesting. It definitely is going to be interesting to see how they use Rasmussen. He came back in a bullpen spot last year. He got built up to a couple innings, but he never did a full start. Last year when he came back, he's coming off. I think he has at least 2, maybe 3 major elbow injuries. So it'd be interesting to see, what they do with him if he's ready to be a starter, because they gave him that extension, and a lot of us, including us on the panel, said, hey, I think that means he's going to be starting, and he may still. The Rays might be doing 5 and keeping Littell around in the mix as a depth piece, or maybe they get plans for one of these starters. They're trying to go get an extra bat for one of these guys. Who knows? You don't know what they're going to do. For me personally, I think I would want to move Littell to the bullpen. It's something he's already done. He can be a bulk guy where, if you have those, Tampa rainstorms, delays, you can kind of just fit him in there, and he's very flexible. It kind of sucks for Littell, but I think he can make that role work and do it at a very high level. So that would be my pick as well. I've also always thought that maybe Taj Bradley would have really good stuff for the bullpen. If this year he can't figure out his stuff, how to be more consistent, how to get that July Taj Bradley for the whole, whole time. Maybe we transition Taj Bradley into a bullpen role. He's got that fastball. He's got that splitter. Maybe that would be his role later on in the season as well.
Chris Archer trade 2.0.
Maybe. I'm hoping Taj has a big season. I really am. We still looking for that Chris Archer-esque year where he goes crazy like Chris Archer did. Maybe this is his year.
He just had a month of it.
We shall see. Junior hit a home run. That's pretty much it, man. I mean, again, first week of spring training. Be tuned in. Posting a lot of stuff, some videos on the Instagram and Twitter. So, follow us. We'll get you covered with spring training stuff and coverage. But we're not done with the Rays just yet. We got some big news about the Rays stadium, potentially ownership group, stuff like that. So, Joel, take it away.
All right, so Ken Rosenthal is reporting all the different things that you've been hearing from some of the secondary guys in the Tampa Bay market. So if it's getting to him and he's beginning to put these things out, that there are Tampa buyers who are actually going against each other and playing in a sense of bidding war, like that's very, very exciting. The news of all this has made it out to one of the guys I like to listen to. He was really involved in all the Oakland Athletics stuff, so he's been around the whole sense of the baseball team moving, and he's essentially since then become the guy who covers teams moving. Like he did a lot with the Arizona Coyotes as well. I cannot remember his name, but I say all that to say that he grabbed onto one of the interviews from J.P. Peterson, probably the leader of all the things about teams moving or the Rays moving and whatnot. So it's pretty surprising, but this is definitely picking up traction. Like Ken Rosenthal's talking about it. The narrative is kind of shifting to now Stu Sternberg is the bad guy, which we've all known for the whole time, but now it's starting to become the narrative that the whole world is beginning to see. So it's all very, very interesting. And these two rivaling bidders are looking at that eBOR site still. So, take it for what it's worth. Like nobody's reporting that this is official or not, but it's looking really good. Like this is probably the most excited I've been as a Rays fan in regards to the stadium for a while. So Brody Brazil, I think is his name. It's something like that. Brody Brazil. So Brody Brazil is the guy who's been reporting all this stuff as well. So it's getting into the right hands, and the narrative is getting pretty good. It's getting pretty good.
So just to fill in the people if they're not, totally tuned in, if my understanding is there are a lot of there's a lot of reports circulating. This was started by J.P. Peterson, where there are multiple Tampa-led groups that are aggressively pursuing buying the Rays.
Yes.
And that is something that these Tampa groups are, a lot of them are largely channel side Tampa area based.
They're all local buyers, so
yes.
it'll be a local ownership group regardless of who buys it.
And so with those reports, that would mean that Stu Sternberg has already kind of implied to these people that he's selling the team, or Rob Manfred's kind of bringing that over.
I personally think Rob Manfred's probably forcing the hand at this point, saying like, all right, if it's taking you, what is this now, 20 plus years to build a stadium, all right, the clock's ticking, Oakland's out of the way, it's your turn, we want this team in Tampa, you got to go. And something that Brody Brazil often brings up is this is a lot of the different conversation that he heard throughout the Oakland years. And like, yeah, maybe Major League Baseball's getting all sweetheart with Tampa right now, because something that he says is that Oakland, right before they moved, their whole identity was rooted in Oakland. It was written on the side of their stadium and all that kind of stuff. And then it kind of flipped within a year or two to where they ended up moving, obviously, to Las Vegas. So he's not as sure about all this stuff. But again, take that with a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. But it's looking good. Like, it's nice to hear it coming from all these different sources throughout America.
There's been a lot of whirlwind around the sport. It wasn't just J.P. Peterson, because I saw that initially, and J.P. Peterson's not exactly an unreliable source, but he definitely reports rumors hard, if that makes sense. Like,
he's got a lot of inside sources. Like, I trust him more than most.
No, I trust him, what he's saying, but I don't. Again, I think sometimes he throws stuff out as a rumor, and he kind of presents that as a rumor, but it kind of gets taken out of context where people see that stuff. And
people get very excited about it, and they'll take it to the next level.
So that's why I saw that, and I was pretty calm. But again, I've just seen so much stuff circling around this, and more people picking it up. The Ken Rosenthal thing is pretty massive. So I do think it is something to definitely keep our eyes on, moving forward. I saw a report that said the Rays. Someone said the Rays could be sold by March 31st. I mean, obviously that would be the dream. That would be just amazing. Again, we told you if the Rays get sold, we are stop dropping and we're coming to TB3 immediately. Dude, it's happening.
I could see there being like a fan-established kind of fan-driven parade. I think so.
Yeah, or like a celebration,
so
a rally.
Yeah. There's a date coming up in March. I think it's sometime in mid-March is when the next string of votes has to happen on the stadium, and I haven't heard a peep about it, so I think the stadium's all but dead at this point. Maybe in the next week or so, 10 days, we'll start hearing more about the next round of voting, but I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's going to happen. So I think the most interesting thing coming up is what are we going to do about the Trop going into 2026? Like, that's kind of still the issue on the table, I guess.
They got to rebuild it, man. I mean, if they're not going to spend all that money in the gas.
So here's the thing though, like
they still want to build up that area, and they still might build the stadium if the Rays.
No, if they don't build the stadium, they're going to build the convention center. They'll use the land for that. But what I was gonna say is, I think like as long as the Yankees are cool with it, like this stadium thing's gonna work. Because I heard that they're gonna have standing room tickets for $20.
Yeah,
like that's great.
I
go to every game if I can.
It really depends on the capacity of those tickets. But yeah, that was a very refreshing thing to see.
$20 for standing room.
I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that easy peasy.
You're sitting in a
cares?
rinky-dink minor league.
I'm watching the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa outdoors for $20.
I'm on Joel's side.
Easy
on this
peasy.
one.
Come on, give me that every night. I'll take that. I'll take awesome. 81 of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's been talking about it for a while, so this isn't just something that kind of came up overnight. Like usually when I mention things on the show, it's coming from him as my source. So I would just get excited, I'd say. Like I personally think the
tentative excitement.
I think the team will be sold within the season.
Wow.
I think so.
Dude, I'm gonna cry. Oh my gosh. Rays lose Tropicana Roof. Go to Tampa Bay. Start off hot, 20-5 April. Rays get sold.
Within a calendar year.
Rays get sold. Rays go to playoffs. Rays play playoff games in Raymond James miraculously. Rays win the World Series and also get sold. And we all jump up and down and joy.
Oh, man, my World Series is just selling the team.
Honestly, me too.
That'd be solid.
It'd be awesome. Man, we will do whatever. We might have a live stream where it's just literally the phone audio, but we will do something when the Rays get sold. It'll be a day in history.
I might get teary-eyed.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna get emotional.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get emotional. All right, so be tentatively excited and keep your ear in the news.
Keep your ear out.
Yeah.
And like you gotta look for it too. Like the time doesn't want you believing any of this.
Yeah, because they're yep.
Yeah, my free advertisement to JP Peterson. Listen to his show, 10 to 12 weekdays.
All right.
And JP Peterson, you should have us on the show someday.
Dude.
I actually was on a show one time talking about how boring the Rays team was in like 2023, I think.
2023?
I think it was 22.
Probably 22.
It was 22 because it was after...
we weren't recording.
It was after an Orioles game when Yu Chang pitched because they're getting blown out. And me and Joel drove home and called into... DAE, and Joel used my name and started lambasting the crowd and Stu Sternberg to Neil Solondz. And I'm probably blacklisted now.
Hey, point is,
with the 727 number. Yeah, he's blacklisted.
Hey, I got on the show, and pretty soon after that, JPP stopped bringing in callers. So, all works out.
All worked out. So yeah, keep your ear in the news. That's about all we have this week. Coming up this weekend, like we said, Lightning game on Thursday. You got the NFL Combine. Check out our Instagram. We did some mock drafts on the Instagram. Thought those turned out pretty well. Give our thoughts on who the Bucks might potentially draft in April. Just follow us on the Instagram in general, pumping out content. Follow us on X/Twitter, pumping out content. If you're on YouTube, comment down below. Do you think the Rays will get sold in the 2025 season? Will it happen? Do you think the Lightning will extend this win streak to 10 games? Will that happen? like the video, subscribe to the channel. On Spotify, hit the 5 stars, hit the follow button. Thank you guys for the support. We wouldn't be able to make it to a new studio without you guys listening and all our friends that we know and even the random people we don't know. We appreciate your support and your love. We're blessed to be here. So thank you guys, and we hope you guys have a blessed night.